Hello and salutations, I'm Sal, welcome back to Jason's Toys, and today we're continuing on with Action Force, and I'm finally getting to go over the Swarm Trooper. He's been the one I'm looking forward to the most out of Wave 1. I've liked the Swarm since they kind of popped up. Really looking forward to the Scarab in Series 2. I don't know what it is, it's something about the aesthetics, the translucent eyes definitely help, but the gear pack sold it, the wings and the shield and all that, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Obviously, this is from the Valaverse Action Force. This is not the last video. We still have the troopers to go over and the weapons packs and all that kind of stuff, but this is the last of kind of the, I guess, the core of Series 1, and then Wasp Raider whenever he gets here. I have a couple of those on pre-order through the whole BotCon thing, so whenever they get here. Looking at it, you see we get the Swarm Trooper, we get his long arm, his sidearm, his knife. All of his hands are in the front this time. Stands obviously behind that. It says Action Force Swarm Trooper, Valaverse down here at the bottom. Window continuation on the top with Valaverse. That's the bottom. Side of the box is Action Force. Other side of the box has this great artwork of the Swarm. He's Series 1, Figure 4. In the back of the box, we get the same cross-sell with Condor, Bone Collector, Steel Brigade, Swarm, Karak, and Slaughter. QR code, and then, file card where it all has the various stuff, but I like that it has things that are redacted. Action points, where to follow Valaverse. And since this is kind of a two-for video, the Swarm gear set just has kind of artwork here on the front, same stuff on the top without a window continuation, same stuff on the bottom, same side, artwork of the pack on the side, and the back just kind of shows you mock-ups, like computer mock-ups of what's inside. You get action points, QR code, all that kind of stuff. All that out of the way, let's get it open, go over the articulation and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to combine the gear set with the accessories in that part of the video, and you know what we're going to do. Kicking things off the stand like we always do. It's the same one that you've seen a few times now. Steel texture on it, it says Action Force, 4 foot pegs, and a slot for the file card. Conversely, in the Swarm gear pack, you get this clear yellow stand, which pretty cool. Like, it's clearly the same stand, pun intended, but I love translucence, so I'm a bit biased on that. Something else from the gear pack is the jetpack with the wings, again with translucent yellow. One of my favorite parts of this is actually the blue there at the bottom, and no, that's not light reflecting, it's actually kind of a white to blue. I like having that gradient there. So there's a little something extra, something that may go underappreciated, or maybe everyone else's favorite part, I don't know yet. I really like that, I think that's a nice touch. Sizable peg there in the back, which also has sculpt on the other side. I don't really see that very often. Like, sometimes backpacks are just plain Jane on the inside, but there's actually sculpt here. So the wings do articulate, and they have either ratchets or pretty strong detents in here, so they're not floppy at all. Pretty much just have the 3 levels, but wherever you put them is where they're going to stay. And it plugs into the back just fine. Hangs off just a little bit, but in my brain, would I rather it be form-fitting? Yeah, but kind of leaves room for articulation at least. Pegs in, no problem. Then we have the knife, which is pretty similar to the knife we got with Steel Brigade and Condor, except it has black with a silver edge, and there is a sheath on the back of the belt for that knife, and unsurprisingly it fits in the gripping hand that we're about to go over. We have more accessories to go over. Let's go over the hands. We get 2 gripping hands with a hinge mechanism for in and out, 2 trigger hands for the left and the right, hinge mechanism for up and down, and 2 C-grip hands, or rifle cradling hands, punch-out hands, all that kind of stuff. You've heard me say it 100 times, you know what they are by now. Hinge mechanism for in and out. Next up we have the Swarm's long arm, which the yellow came out extremely clean, pretty much all the way around, and I actually applaud that they were able to get the yellow to come out as bright as they did, considering it's being sprayed over black, and it didn't come out all caked on and all the details still there, so pretty impressive. Of course, there's the hole in the barrel for a muzzle flash, and with a little finesse, the trigger hand fits on it just fine. A little bit to work around, kind of confined area, but once it's on there, it's on there. Next up we have a sidearm, which is the same one we saw with Condor and Steel Brigade, only this is in yellow, or yellow and black I should say. Hole in the barrel for a muzzle flash, and it fits in the trigger hand just fine. Really snug too. And there's a holster for that sidearm, and it fits just fine. Given what's going on the weapons front, I think this is the MP5, maybe MP7, I don't remember off the top of my head. It's another 9mm weapon. One day I would like to see the buttstock be able to actually be extended on that. I think that'd be really cool. Big open hole for a muzzle flash on the suppressor there up at the front, and very clean paint applications again. And of course it fits in the hand just fine. Next up we have the grenade launcher. It's all cast in black except for the drum, which is in yellow, and even though it's painted, it still maintains its ability to rotate, so I think that's a really cool feature. I'd like to see more of those types of features going forward. And there's a hole here for a big old muzzle flash, so can't go wrong with that. Nice foregrip here in the front, and the trigger hand fits on this just fine as well. And last up for our accessories is this awesome shield. Big swarm emblem there, and I really like how on the wings and the shield both, it has that kind of honeycomb pattern to it. There's even like little splotches there, kind of like digital effects. I think it's kind of cool. And on the inside we have the handle for it, which is a beefy boy. It's kind of a big handle, admittedly. It's also textured, So you have like ridges for all these honeycomb looking patterns. And the grabby handle fit on there just fine. I did use a little bit of heat though, because the handle is kind of wide, so I had to use a little bit of heat to soften the hand up and made my life a lot easier. Point is, the handle will fit in the hand, though I guess you could always balance it in the cup hand, which just now realized. So you could do that too. That leaves us with the Swarm Trooper, and there's a lot of detail packed into this guy. He's got all different types of armor on him, different places where magazines may or may not be. Get it? B. Anyway, but my favorite thing is the helmet, because I love translucence, and I love that you can kind of make out the ball peg in there, but it's so murky that it could very well be a face in there. You know what I mean? Like, it's opaque enough that it looks like, oh, that could be a head in there, but we know it's the ball peg. Ostensibly, he seems to have the same chest as most of the rest of the line, but we'll find out here in a second when we take off the armor. He does have a harness though, so he's got that belt and then the harness that goes down over his kind of hip areas. There's his holster, nice kind of steel legs and all that kind of stuff. He's pretty unique. Some shared parts from the rest of the line, but pretty unique otherwise. Here's the back of the figure. We saw a little bit of it earlier. Really neat stuff so far. All out of the way, let's go ahead and go over articulation. He can look up that far, which I really appreciate. That puts him into a flying pose. I don't get that very often. With things that are supposed to fly, very rarely do they actually look straight ahead. They look down that far, side to side of course, a little bit of tilt, some shifting, but not a lot. Shoulder can spin 360, no problem. Coming up though, it does crash into the shoulder here to this armor pad does. If you force it, not that I recommend it, you can get it up at just under 90. Butterfly joint goes backwards and forwards, bicep swivel, double joint in the elbow comes up that far. We have wrist swivel, and these particular wrists pivot in and out. It has two dumbbell joints like the rest of the line. Using both to lean forward that far, lean back that far. We get lots of side to side, swivel at the top, swivel at the bottom. Like the rest of the line, he has drop hips, though you do have to work with this belt a little bit, just because it likes to ride up or sink down, what have you. Without using the drop hip, he'll kick forward that far, kick back that far, and kick out that far. But you do have to, again, work with this thing because it likes to get caught between the armor. Using the drop hip, he'll kick forward that far, kick back that far, and kick out that far. We have a thigh swivel, double joint in the knee comes all the way up. We actually have a swivel here at the top of the ankle. The ankle goes back that far before it crashes into the armor, forward that far before, again, it crashes into the armor, and ankle rocker. And in case you're curious, that's what it looks like without its harness on. He's still got that kind of waffle pattern that we see with most of the rest of the line, so pretty standard across the line, but just in case you're curious what it looked like. There he's next to Sarge, next to Steel Brigade, Bone Collector, Gondor, Karak, Classified Zartan, Destro, Major Blood, Black Series Bosk, Ram Man Tim, Modular Iron Man from Marvel Legends, and Diamond Select Titanium Man. And that's all I got for today. Very happy with the Swarm. I wish the shoulders came up a little bit further. That's inherent with the design. The shoulder pads are going to crash into that kind of overlay, I guess, for lack of a better word, on the butterfly joint or at the shoulder. They come up far enough. Like, I don't need them really to be reaching that far above their head. Like, it's very minor in the grand scheme of things, because if I need them to raise up, I can just bring the arm up like a normal human would. I think the gear pack really completes it. It's not necessary to buy it. The Swarm Trooper's cool enough without it, but that extra gear pack really makes it sing. It's up to you though if you're gonna get both. I don't know. It's kind of bittersweet though, because I'm running out of Action Force. Like it's all open now. I mean, I still have the troopers and the weapons packs to go over, but I'm looking forward to Wasp Raider when he gets here, because he's kind of like the commander for the Swarm. I guess he's like the Goldhead Steel Brigade equivalent for the Swarm. It'll be nice when he gets here. That way, Swarm all have a commander to fall under. I think I have like 7 Swarm on the way or something like that. Something ridiculous. But you'll have to let me know what you think down below about the Swarm. What do you think about the character design? What do you think about the extra packs? All that kind of stuff. This one here's got Condor kind of cornered, so to speak. It's kind of like the other side of the coin from Condor's thumbnail. He is on a flight stand. I just have it cleverly hidden by cement blocks, but it is there. I use DC flight stands. I don't think they're made anymore. They used to come in a pack of 2 for $10, so that's what I got. I only have 1 left though. I don't know what happened to them. Anyway, I've rambled enough. Long story short, I'm very happy with this figure. I'm really happy with the whole line so far. I really love it. I'm excited for Series 2. Again, if anything in this video was of interest to you, Action Force wise, links are in the description below where you can pre-order them. Sign up for the newsletter on Valaverse.com. You'll get an email when Series 1 goes up for regular order on that website. If you like what you saw, then all that asks is you click like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It's a great way to help me out. I very much appreciate what you do. And I do thank you all for stopping by and spending some time with me today. So till next time, I'm Sal, and it's time for action.